for those who are hoping that a change at quarterback might make things different for this Patriots team on Sunday.
Well, it's a cool thing for a business card. You played with the greatest quarterback and the worst quarterback in history.
I mean, I don't know.
I think it gives them a little boost.
You've been saying that, and he's saying it doesn't. And
that's what he's telling the media.
Oh, okay.
But I've been there before, and I know when you make a change, and it could be at many different positions, not just the quarterback position, but especially the quarterback position. When you make a change with a guy that maybe guys like Mac Jones, but maybe guys like Bailey Zappi's attitude or just the way he carries himself a little bit different than Mac Jones. And so that's an instant energy boost. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to make you win the football game, but it's no different when you see a head coach get fired during the season and then they hire the guy that everybody would love to be the head coach.
I know, but so when you say you've been there before, I assume you're talking about Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe, right?
No.
This is not Bailey Zappi, no disrespect, is not Tom Brady.
No, but I wouldn't even say no.
Okay, so give me an example of when you guys got a boost from a quarterback change.
Let me see. When
he doesn't remember the guy's name.
When we put in Rodney Peete, I remember in Carolina, we had Rodney Peete come in. It gave us a little juice, gave us a little boost. So that's kind of how it is as a player, but it's a lot of positions like that. When you start to see like a guy that you look at and go, oh, this guy's getting his crack at it, and we feel like he can help the team.
You talking about Jackson?
And I think just people generally, maybe they look at the personality, and maybe guys look at Zappi's personality and go, okay, he's not going to wave me off if we're not on the same page. He's not going to kind of look me down in a way of where I feel a certain way.
If you're David Andrews and you've overcome all that he has to become, a great center, Super Bowl winning Patriot, and you see Mac Jones, a first-round pick, always blaming everybody else, don't you think that grates on you?
Yeah, I think it definitely.
You look at this team, I don't know if Zappi's going to be good. He probably won't be good. But at least it won't be this miserable, joyless slog of a 3-hour game on Sunday.
And we always talk about this in sports, especially with that guy at the position. Brady's separate because he's the greatest of all time. But just the way the presence of Brady, whether he could throw the ball 10 yards or not, but just his presence in that locker room, in the meetings, in the huddle, it's no different than how I think the team felt when Cam Newton was the quarterback, right? And Cam wasn't the greatest, but there was a presence that these guys rallied around them and wanted to do everything in their power to make sure they could help out and make him look as good as he could possibly
Wiggy,
look.
what did we always say about Cam on those Mondays? Man, what a breath of fresh air. Accountable.
Right.
He wasn't playing great, but he was never throwing his receivers under the bus. He took accountability and was, just a refreshing player to watch, even though he stunk.
You're assuming that there is some sentiment or sediment in that locker room, which is we don't like Mac. We don't like the way, Mac, the way Mac is. We don't like his personality.
Yeah, the way he carries himself. And we sat here and we joked about this. Cam's last game against the Jets, when they won that, I think they won the game, but they were all celebrating and everything, and it just looked like the energy was different. I think those guys in that locker room, it's not that they dislike Mac as a person, but I think that they just look at the way he carries himself and the way he says things. And
that's disliking him as a person. That's disliking his character. You're talking about character stuff.
Yeah, but it's
the stuff that you don't like, the stuff that Boomer called on this show douchiness.
Yeah, he might be a great person, but that it's not that you dislike him. It's the way you carry yourself on the football field. And some of maybe he's off the field. He's like, hey, listen, if you ever need anything, hey, call me anytime or whatever. So they might like him in that aspect, but on the field, when he's throwing his hands up in the air, he's waving at Hunter Henry, Gesicki about going up the field. It's just like, rather than just have this hey, come over here and let's kind of talk about it, you're showing me up.
But then Gesicki was asked. But then Gesicki was asked about it, and Gesicki was like, "You're not going to get me to ever say anything bad about Mac."
Right, but that's because who's asking him? The media. Courtney.
He feels like it's a trap.
Courtney.
And he's not going to answer that.
Most guys, Brady said himself, when they talk to the media, 99% of the stuff they're telling the media is a lie.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not going to say that. But when he's in that locker room and he's sitting next to Hunter Henry and they're chopping it up and there's no media around, and he's probably saying, man, you believe this dude, Mac?
Well, look at the game prior. Did Gesicki flail his arms at Mac when he was wide-ass open for the game-winning touchdown in Frankfurt? Did he show up as quarterback when he made the single worst athletic endeavor I have ever witnessed with my own two eyes?
No.
No. So why should he just be human about it? Gesicki doesn't make an ass of the quarterback that just threw the worst pass in NFL history, but he runs a route. Mac makes a bad decision. There's an interception, and Mac's immediately gesturing, flailing his arms at the guy.
Curtis, Rhode Island texter on the Subaru of New England text line. Find your authorized Subaru retailer at SubaruofNewEngland.com. Curtis, you're a D-bag. When has Mac blamed anyone else ever? You're worse than Vola.
Well, nice spelling, 401. And I would say, I don't know if you have a TV. Maybe it's a small one like Greg's. I don't know. But if you watch, they play at 1 o'clock usually, and the quarterback is number 10, Mac Jones. And when he makes a bad decision, instead of banging his helmet or, tapping his chest saying that's on me, he flails his arms like he's doing a bad Macarena, blaming everybody else.
No, you know what he looks like?
Does that make sense, you effing moron? Okay, thank you.
I get it. You know what he looks like? He looks like the kid who strikes out in Little League, and then all the way back to the dugout, he's beating his bat, he's waving his hands, he's like crying.
Blaming the umpire.
He's blaming the umpire.
Yeah, but he generally puts it on himself. I agree with the texter.
No, he doesn't.
He does. He says
he's a subliminal shade shot thrower. That's what he does.
Subliminal shade tosser.
Well, and that's what he does when you hear him talk about. Where did the report come from? I'm now starting to believe more and more that report of
Henry McKenna's report.
Yeah, about how you want, what kind of chef you think, what chef can turn garbage or make garbage taste good.
Right.
I'm starting to believe that more and more and more because of the little things. Well, when the O-line gives me time, I'm pretty good.
Bring the guys along with me.
Bring the guys along with me.
Get on board.
Get on board. I think it's those type of things that we've talked about over and over and over. And then it's more about the one thing I'll always remember about playing, whether it's college, high school, and I'll even tell the kids at Brockton, and I always never show up your teammate. Never show up your quarterback as an offensive player. Mm-hmm. So if you're running down the field wide open, never jump and flail and do, because you don't know what could have happened, right? So never show him up. And the same thing can be said for the quarterback. Never show up your receiver. If he drops a ball, if he runs the wrong route, try to take him to the side and then have the communications with him rather than throwing. And he did it more than once in the Giants game with just more than Gesicki.
No, I mean, listen, I'll buy into the energy or whatever it is of Bailey Zappi being better. I mean, he's, ear to ear grinning because he's going to get the start and he's going to get, but that doesn't, I don't think that translates to a win.
No, it's not about translating to the win.
I just don't.
You've been in radio how long?
30, but when I finish this contract, I will have been hosting a morning radio show in Boston for over 35 years. And I don't look a day over 40.
No, you don't.
Yep.
So when
you're
this illustrious career that you've been in, you've probably worked with people who had horrible body language, and it just brings the energy down.
Yeah, you mean dinks.
And it's just about their body language, how they carry themselves, versus people that always seem to be like, you know what? Hey, maybe they might not be as good as this other person, but their energy.
That's why I like this, our little family here.
Right. And it's the energy.
Everybody's happy. Nobody hates each other. Everybody gets along. Everybody wants everybody else to shine. I just don't know that Mac Jones is somebody it seems like when you hear guys talk about him that are on that team, they go out of their way.
What else would they do,
Right.
Greg? And what when you how you react when adversity strikes is how you feel. Not an hour and a half later after you took a shower and you're out of your pads and you're in front of the media. What you do in those moments reveals your true self. And what Mac's true self is a guy that it's never his fault. And, and even in that great comeback against the Bills where Mac took the Patriots down the field, he's talking to Evan Washburn. And he says, "Oh, I'm just so glad that Bill O'Brien finally called the plays at Alabama that worked for me." Like, he's taking a shot at Bill even in those moments.
The best way to really know how players feel, don't listen to what they say about the media. Get a chance to see how they interact with each other on the sidelines. Whether when they're scoring touchdowns, they have these cool little dances and handshakes and this and that.
Oh, Mac has the gritty.
That's alone.
Yeah, alone. Generally, it is alone. Or is it just a basic? Is it a basic hug that like you're looking going, all right? But you can really tell a lot by guys' energy. Like
See, somebody on the text line says that reading Mac Jones' body language is like a text message. Like everybody can take it a different way. Like,
how do you take the gyrations, Greg, against the Giants?
I feel like he's expressing frustration. I don't
with
know
himself or with the route.
I think it's with everything. I don't think.
Okay,
it's
but if you had to
particularly-
pick one specific, when you saw him doing that, what did you think?
You mean the
Gesicki
throw
interception
when he airmailed Gesicki?
Yeah.
yes.
I would say that he's expressing frustration with the receiver and not himself.
Correct.
And that's wrong.
That's right.
And when he gets sacked, and this, if you were just to put the camera on Mac and you see his body language and his arm flailing, every single time you go, he's complaining about somebody not doing their job. Whether it's a sack and he's probably like, my left tackle didn't block. And every time you see him, that's what the impression of is he's always bitching based on his body language about somebody not doing their job.
Yeah.
Whether it's the offense coordinator, whether it's the guy running a route, whether it's the blocking for him. So how do people look at that and take that in a different way? I don't know what they're watching.
Sean, great suggestion from a texter if you can do it quick on the I don't know if you can or not. But what? So what? What are you saying? Sorry?
No, I was saying, how do you watch the game and not see his body language and go, he looks frustrated at everybody around them for not doing his job?
Yeah. All right.
Did the man die? He did.
That's why we have the best listeners in the world. That's a great suggestion. Give that person some kind of a gift certificate or something, will you?
Did the man die? He did.
Oh, what a great